everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I am reviewing a foundation that's been raved on here on YouTube. I usually don't do like makeup tutorials or anything like that, but I've been a huge fan of L'Oreal, and almost everything I've tried so far from them work perfectly for me. And when I heard about this foundation, I was just very curious, and of course I had to try it, and I wanted to share my opinion with you guys. So we're gonna do this together today. So the foundation I will be reviewing today is this L'Oreal Infallible 24 up to 24 fresh wear. This claims to stay for 24 hours. We'll see about that. I do love long wearing foundations because, as I probably mentioned before, I leave my house around 7:30 in the morning, won't get back in till 6:30, so like something that's sustainable and will last me all day. So this has a sunscreen of 25. This is a 1.0 fluid, so 1 fluid ounce. And it's just said that it wears up to 24 hours. It doesn't mention here whether it's for dry or oily skin, but we'll see. I got mine in the shade 460, which I went a little bit darker than my usual shade just because I still have some color from vacation. So yeah, this retails for $11.99 at Walmart, $14.99 at Ulta, and I want to say $13.99 at Target. So yes, Walmart is the better place to get it. This also comes in a glass bottle, which I thought was neat. It does come with a pump, which is what I prefer. But yeah, other than that, I don't think I have anything else to say, except let's get on to the tutorial. Alright, so I brought you in a little closer and I just pulled up my hair so it's out of the way. I already moisturized my face, and I used a little bit of the Benefit Professional on my pores over here, because I do tend to have a larger pores in this area. And let's just go ahead and get started. I had never used this before, so this is the first pump. Let's pump it out together. Alright, so it looks like it's a good match for me. As you can see, it is sort of runny, very much like their Infallible Pro formula. So let's go ahead and work our way down. Just gonna put a little bit over here. So that was one pump on this side of my face, and I'm just gonna use a brush. I just find it to be quick, and then I go over with a beauty sponge. If I had a little bit more time, I would use the beauty sponge because I do like the finish with the beauty sponge better, but I'm in a little bit of a hurry, so let's just use the brush. This is what I usually use on an everyday basis. It's just, I found it easier and quicker anyway, so I'm just gonna do what I usually do. Alright, so we're just gonna staple this in. I think I put a little bit too much on my forehead, but I'm trying to avoid my eyebrows. I usually don't do my eyebrows before my foundation for this particular reason, but for the sake of the video I had to do my eyes prior. And don't forget to bring it down just a little bit. So it looks like it did even out my skin tone very nicely, but because I have melasma up here, I have a little bit of discoloration. As you can see, I am gonna add about a half a pump up in my cheek area. So let's just add a little bit in. I do really like the finish. I would say it's a medium to full coverage, but that's my preference. anyway. You can always build it up. So that did, it looks like it did cover it a little bit better, but I'm gonna go over that with concealer, so no worries there. Now we're gonna go ahead and work on the second half of my face. It is very runny, so you have to be careful. So this is what the finish is like with just the brush. As you can see, is very dewy but not too oily. It's definitely a finish that I like. I did, however, notice that I have a little bit of streakiness around here when I use my magnifying mirror, but when I use a regular mirror, it just looks flawless. Like I said, it is medium to buildable coverage, which is something I prefer. So I'm gonna go over it with a sponge. I'm just gonna stamp. This is just a damp beauty sponge, and I'm just gonna staple everything in and try to make it look even smoother. So I'm looking at it right now using the magnifying mirror, and it looks absolutely flawless, absolutely beautiful. So yeah, so far so good. I really like the finish. I would say it did cover some of my melasma a little bit, but I think I need to go over it with a concealer, which is typical for me for most foundations, so I won't blame that on this foundation. Other than that, I really like the finish. I like the coverage. Of course, as I mentioned, it can be buildable, and yes, so I really like it with this though. So this is what the foundation looks like after I applied it with both the brush and the beauty blender. Again, this is my preferred method. It just leaves it like so much dewier and less streaks, which is something I prefer for my skin type. So yeah, this is what it looks like up close. I know I zoomed you in, but this is what it looks like up close. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of my face. I'm just gonna put some concealer on, powder, and lipstick, bronzer, and I will be right back. So this is the finished look. I just went ahead, put some lipstick, blush, and a little bit of powder, concealer and powder under my eyes only, because I did want to see how it wears by itself. So hopefully it wears well and it stays as it claims to do. But I really like the finish so far, and yeah, I will check back in a few hours. So I'm back from my first check-in. I just went, got some errands done. I put the foundation around 1 p.m. It is now 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it looks pretty good. It didn't get oily or anything, but I don't typically get oily. As you can see, I do see it wearing off a little bit around my nose, but that's because I was blowing my nose a couple of times, and I can see my zit peeking through, and that's because I kept touching it the whole time. Just it bothers me. And other than that, it still looks pretty good. I mean, I really like the coverage. This is more like a full coverage for me. The one thing I noticed is that it's not a foundation that necessarily blurs your pores. My pores look horrible, and I'm not gonna blame it on the foundation. I just have enlarged pores in the enlarged pores in general, but I found that other foundations, like high-end ones, do tend to blur them a little bit better, but you know, it is what it is. Other than that, the coverage still looks pretty amazing, and it kept me pretty matte too. Again, not because I get oily or anything, but sometimes I can see like some shine in this area right here, and I don't see that happening with this foundation. So far so good. This is 4 hours later. I'm gonna do one more check-in after I am done for the day. I'll see you later. So it's about 10:30 right now. I've been wearing this foundation since 1 p.m. so that's about 9.5 hours. I think it held up pretty well. As you can see, my zit here is pretty much out at this point, and I also lost coverage around the mouth area, but I had like 2 meals and dessert, so of course I kept my wiping my mouth. But other than that, my discoloration, it's still pretty well covered. I am very impressed because for most foundations, by the time I get back from work, I can see my dark spots peeking through, but not with this one. I am really impressed with the coverage up here, and my face still looks very matte, as you can see. I think this will work better for oily skin. I have dry skin, and although I put a lot of moisture before I laid the foundation, it still looks pretty matte, which I'm very surprised about. So yeah, everything else looks good. My thoughts, I would highly recommend this foundation. I think it's performing just like it says. I mean, obviously this is 9.5 hours, but I think nobody should be wearing foundation for more than 10 hours anyway. I would definitely recommend it. For the price, I think it's pretty damn close to a lot of high-end foundations, especially for the price. Again, this foundation retails for $11.99 at Walmart, which is where I got it from. Everywhere else it's around $13 to $14.99. So yeah, that was it for my review today. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't, and I hope this was helpful, and please let me know what else would you like to see from me, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.